Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Maddie. I am an artist, and I wanted to talk to you about 3 things that will help develop your art style. And personally, if you are new being an artist or you want to take your art more seriously, this is definitely the video for you to keep watching. So, a little bit more about myself. I started out as a realist artist. I liked very almost photorealistic as I could possibly get. I used to do like large colored pencils and paintings and sketch, but it just takes so much time that throughout the years I was just trying to figure out how can I do this and not spend so much time and still do like little doodles that I like. But I never really knew that you could be an artist growing up. I was always kind of told that, and my dog is saying hello. Say hello to my dog. Hi, buddy. This is Stitch. Anyway, I'm so distracted. This is why I write everything down, so I can actually keep a straight mind. But anyway, basically, I didn't really know that there were things like Instagram and TikTok and all this stuff when I graduated high school or when I was in high school, and I really wish that I did. But that being said, I also saw that you needed kind of your own style to be able to grow on social media. But I feel like that's kind of false. I feel like you're just kind of selling yourself and people become interested and they stick around because of consistency. I don't really have the following to be able to verify that, but that's how I feel. I don't feel like you need to have a specific niche down one for all style to do that. But it's important to know what you're good at and what you like to paint or draw. So let me see, I wrote this down because I'm a bit of a scatterbrain when I'm on camera. Basically what I said was, be original. Do not copy somebody else's style. You can. I used to do it for like little cartoony like things, just to see. Just to clarify, I don't mean to copy somebody's artwork and pass it as your own. I simply mean just using a particular style of artwork, such as maybe surrealism or something that you're just typically not used to, and practicing with this. Never ever copy another artist's artwork. If I liked it as much, but honestly I personally just I like more moody realism in my artwork. I mean, they push that consistency thing on every platform, which is true. But if you're like me and you like to paint super realistic things, you need a better way to do that. And I thought that doing less realistic artwork and more cartoon-based kind of stuff, not really cartoon, but semi-realistic is what I'm more getting at. Like here's an example. I thought, actually that's kind of convenient that I have these. Anyway, if I did stuff like this, okay, not realistic, but it's semi-realistic, right? I thought that that would be better for me to develop my style because it was quicker to do. And I don't think that's right at all because I'm a realistic artist. This is harder for me to do and sit down and work at because it's not easy for me. I don't know how to say that in the way where it's kind of like, say, if you had me do cartoons, it'd be so much harder for me to do than to kind of like zone out. So say I'm like, because this is actually a piece I'm working on right now. It's not finished in any way, shape, or form. So excuse the little things that need to be done and fixed on it. But I have an easier time zoning out in my mind and working on that. That's what I'm good at, and it's just I've built my foundational skills on it a lot better, so it's easier for me to do that and just kind of work at it. Like I could just put on some music and not think about it and just keep painting. It's fun for me. But when I tried to work on other styles that I saw people on Instagram would have, who had large following bases, I tended to kind of try to practice with those and do that myself in my own kind of little way. And I didn't think it was very helpful. I honestly kind of think it was helpful in one way, in the sense that it helped me figure out what I didn't want to do, which I think that's great actually. So maybe just try it just to see what you do and don't like in your artwork. But I prefer more realistic styles. Like this would be, I had a lot easier of a time doing this than something silly and goofy, and I don't know. It's just me. It's just what I like. I like that kind of style. It's easier for me, and I had to learn that with practice. That's my other one on the list, was don't be lazy. Practice, practice, practice. You can practice other mediums. I personally have found that I really do not like sketches. I am a messy sketcher. I don't really do those super smooth sketch work lines that some of them do that are pretty popular on Instagram and stuff. I just don't, it's not me. And that's what I mean when I say that to develop your own style, you need to find what works for you, what you like to do, and what you're good at. Basically, once you find something basically that you can just put on some music and just go with it, and it makes you happy, that is your style. That is my personal opinion on this. Everyone keeps saying, like, you know, niche down and everything, but honestly, I honestly think that you're just selling yourself. If people want to watch because they like you and what you're doing, I don't think that you have to just permanently draw bunnies and stick to bunnies, for example. I'm just saying something stupid. Yeah, I really don't think that it needs to be niche down in just a clump, because that was where I was really struggling with this. I think that's just false. I think it is. But anyway, I'm going off into a million tangents. Stop trying to do what other people do. Find what works for you. You need to practice your foundations, just like anything in life. You don't pick up a piece of pencil or a paintbrush and just know how to do it right off the bat. You have to do a little bit of digging, a little bit of research. How does, I don't know, your color theory, you need to know your color theory. That's like a big one. Please learn your color theory if you do not know it. You need to know what happens when you mix red and blue. What is that gonna make? You need to know those things. It's kind of important. So practice your foundation. Sorry about that, my camera died. But anyway, I was going off about foundational skills. And while I was kind of rambling at that point, it's absolutely true. Learn your foundations. It will help you. When I say that, I mean your hues, your color theory, your values. You need to know what light and dark is in your pictures. You need to know that there is never really truly pure white in the natural world. These are all things that you should know and be able to apply to other things as you grow as an artist. In my personal opinion, for you to grow your artwork and figure out what you like to do and draw besides realistic, if you're not a realistic artist, is to practice with your realistic stuff, because you can't draw like a really good anime character and not apply good values and lighting and all those important compositional aspects to your artwork. And that's really mainly the biggest thing, is what I'm trying to get at in this whole video. Okay, so take my advice, because I sat there and tried so hard to do what everybody else was doing when I could have just been painting what I liked and was good at. And honestly, I think the results are just so much better, because I showed you my silly little doodle things, which weren't too bad. They were still kind of in my style. They weren't the failure ones that I'll actually show you a couple. Okay, so here's a good example. And by the way, my brother drew this, and I think it's so funny. I just had to show you. Don't mind my nonsense. But anyway, I kind of want to just show you like the difference, like between, you can tell by the pieces that I enjoyed doing and the ones that I didn't, and I was trying to experiment and figure out what worked for me at that point. Like, this is an older sketchbook, but some things you kind of see where I, like a good example of my personality in these. So this one, okay, not bad, adorable. This is what I mean by messy sketches. Super messy. That was just kind of, that was a moody one. This one, which I loved drawing that one. I never actually filled the page, which I'm notorious about. This was me practicing eyes, lips, and my anatomy, which is another one you need to practice if you're not, because it's important. Here's a unfinished one. This is a good example. This was me trying to do semi-realism, and it just isn't natural to me. I don't like it. I love that style though, so if you do draw like that, then kudos on you. I like it. I'm not, that's not my, oh, here's one. I remember drawing this. I hate it. I hate it so much. But that's what I mean. That's what I mean. You need to kind of practice and find out what works for you. Here's another semi-realistic one, which it's not terrible, but it's not exactly where I'd want to be as an artist right now, this very moment. So I think that's better, more of an example of what I'm trying to say here. And the whole point of this whole video is you need to find what works for you. Are you a sketcher? Do you like sketching with pencils and charcoals and colored pencils, watercolored pencils? Are you a painter like me? Like, I prefer to paint. I actually have some that I brought out just for examples to show you, like, this is what I like to do. Because you need to know your mediums that you prefer over others. I love paint. I love it. I love watercolor. Oh, this is oil. I started with acrylics. I love acrylic. I just don't like that it dries as fast, but it also works in your advantage that it dries pretty quick over oils. But those are things you have to figure out. What are you better at? What will you grow quicker with? What do you enjoy more? So this was one of them. This was my landscape piece. It's actually pretty larger in oil. I had so much fun painting this, and it didn't take me relatively that long because it was something I enjoyed to do. I'll give you another example. This is another oil piece that I did not that long ago. And this is why I don't agree with niching down, because if you're an artist and you like to do something, then I think that you should explore the other options. Because here's another oil piece I did, and it's not super realistic. It kind of has a semi-realistic feel to it, but it still has that oil painterly personality coming out in it. My personality. So I think that's really what I'm trying to say to you. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to leave a comment. If I missed some things or you're just not really sure what I'm trying to get at, leave me a comment. If there's something you'd like to see in the future, definitely let me know. I am thinking about doing separate videos on the different foundations in art and good practice exercises you can do for that. So if there's one in particular you're really struggling with, let me know in the comments once again, and if I see it's kind of like a popular thing that people are requesting, then we'll get to it, because I honestly like doing that kind of stuff because it helps me in my own artwork. So I'm really drilling that into your brain. So thanks for watching. I hope that clarified. Stitch is saying goodbye again. Hello, buddy. But yeah, leave me any questions in the comments.